Hi guys, this is Harrison Ormson with Ormson Aquarium Design. A lot has happened since my last video. I don't know if you've been keeping up with me on Instagram, but I haven't made a video in probably over a year. I just finished my Clemson year, or college year at Clemson, first year, freshman year, and I just got back to Charleston to check on some of the tanks, and I've got a lot of empty stuff that I will probably be aquascaping in the summer or when I get back up to Clemson, but just doing an update on the 55 gallon. A lot has changed since I've left. I've been gone for 2-month periods at a time, so I've just set it up to feed off of itself, really be a completely self-sustaining setup. It's got an Eheim filter, a T5 light, and a 200 watt heater, I think, and that's all it is. And it's been going for the longest, I think, is 3 months by itself. And a lot of plants died, a lot of plants got smaller because the surface plants took over, but I'll go over that once I start showing you the tank. Alright guys, so this is the 55 gallon tank as I left it, essentially. I set up this tank when you remember the old scape, it had leopard tenipomas, rainbow fish. The rainbow fish actually bred. There's let's see if I can find the little guy right there. There you go. This little guy, and there's a few others that are a little bit smaller, but they bred. I had no idea. I found little baby fish swimming around, so they were kind of on their own as I was away at college, but they did pretty well for being on their own. And anyways, I rescaped the tank, and as you can see, it's dirted. You can see better right there, but it's a dirted slope tank, which I've never really seen anyone do very effectively yet, so I went my own way. There's probably better ways to do it, but this is what I came up with. So what I did was, if you can see these little guys right here, these little dividers, that's just those the little kind of mesh, little plastic stuff that I cut. I used them for carpeting Richia in the 55 previously. And there's one there, there's one there. There's more in there, I know, I just have to find them, but anyways, those are just used to hold everything in place. So you can see right here, this is where these pebbles start, and this is where the dirt only starts. So the point of that was, I wanted to make sure this slope stayed in place, so I used these little guys to anchor the pebbles. I poured like probably 40 pounds of these pebbles in, and got the slope that I wanted, and then I poured dirt over on this side. It's probably, 2 inches of dirt over 1.5 inches, 2 inches of that substrate. I'll go over that in a minute. And then I capped it with this black stuff. So in my 29 gallon, I had a mixture of, you can see, Floramax and black gravel. And a lot of people don't like Floramax. I don't really know why. I've had a lot of success with it. In my 29 gallon, I was able to grow almost any plant that I tried, and it went very well. And then in the 55, I had all that black sand. So what I did was I mixed that to kind of a consistency that I really liked, and I capped that over the top of the dirt. And it's held up very well. You can see I've added a little bit over time. There's a little bit of dirt coming up to the surface. Over here there's some, and in here there's some, in the back there's a little bit, and yeah, I mean, other than that, it's held up very well. I then added the Malaysian driftwood that was in the, sorry about that, that's the washing machine shaking around. A little weird. I'll close that up. But anyways, back to this. I added that Malaysian wood I had in my 55 gallon, and these few pieces were from the 29 gallon. There's another piece under there that's covered in bulbous and hidden by plants. And it has grown in miraculously well. There's crenum in the back there. These are some shrimp from Clemson and chili reservoirs. But Cryptocorn balance, I put that in here. The whole idea was to have it, you can kind of see it, the water's a little bit high, so you can't really see all the flowiness, but there's a lot of just leaves on the surface, just big balance. And the crenum has kind of shrunk down since I last saw it, but that's okay. It was massive last time, but yeah, that's a pretty big crypt balance. They're growing very well in here. The dirt, they love, I mean, every plant loves dirt. If you guys haven't tried it, I suggest you try it. But anyways, the main thing, I came back expecting, the bulbous to grow in a little bit, which it has. It was probably, that big, and now it's, some of the leaves are coming out. And the Anubias is growing in. This one in the back behind it was covered in dead leaves. Some of those have kind of eroded away, rotted away. And there's some new growth coming in, which is nice. This one, same thing. And then this guy was just floating in there, so I had to anchor him back down. And I was hoping that this one would be a little bit more covered with the bulbous, but obviously you can see this massive plant has taken some of the light away from the plants underneath. What happened with that is I had a lot of crypts in the back. This is Crypts viralis, there's Cryptocorn windy back there, green I think. There's a few different species. There's a windy bronze back there I think somewhere. And those were just supposed to grow in, nice and thick, come up to probably about here in the back and just make it really bushy with the dwarf sage in the front and maybe a few swords, and then the bulbous coming in and making it a little bit bushier, and then the bulbous over here just filling in that whole area. But I was at the local fish store last time I was here, and they had Madagascan lace plants, but it wasn't a lace plant, it was a bulb. So all I got was, a little bulb. And I tossed it in the back behind this, expecting, maybe when I come back I'll have some, 4 or 5 inch leaves or something like that. I had no idea what to expect. I've heard, or my friends have told me it's kind of a hard plant to grow, but I came back to this, and it is absolutely massive, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. This is the most growth I think I've had on any plant that I've actually liked. I've had dwarf lilies grow like crazy, but I didn't like the look of them, so I had to trim those back. I've had, crenum grow like crazy, but that actually looks pretty cool. Some other things, but this is just awesome. I just love this plant. So I'm thinking about buying a few more, or maybe buying a few more and filling up this half, or I don't even know. I might plant another one, right around this area, see what it does. But I just love this plant. So that was really cool. It's growing like crazy. It's flowering. I'm gonna see if I can get some more to grow so I don't have to go buy more. But yeah, so that's what's going on in here. And I didn't really post this tank a lot. It's been through a lot. Since I'm not here for months at a time, like I said, my brothers and dad, I rely on them to clear away this butterfly fern that grows in here, which is Salvinia, as most people call it. I know as butterfly fern because I saw it in a book from like 30 years ago or whatever. And there's some duckweed that I should probably get rid of. And there was frogbit, but I learned very quickly that frogbit is a very bad idea in a long-term tank like this, and floating plants in general are as well, because they'll just cover the tank, and then you'll have all these plants down here that need sunlight, and they'll not be getting light. So what happened was the frogbit grows much longer, roots. This Salvinia, as you can see a little bit, you can't really see the roots. This is about as long as they get, and that is probably 3.5, 4 inches long. This little root structure right there, and that's a pretty big root structure for them. So they don't go down very deep. But the frogbit, goes all the way down. And I had a few plants anchor in the substrate and just take off. I'm talking frogbit that was coming out of the water probably a few inches, and they were just over the entire surface of the tank. None of the light was getting down. I lost a lot of the algae growth that I needed for the shrimp and the plants and all that stuff. Or not plants, but the shrimp and the snails to live comfortably. So I lost a good bit of shrimp. I still have all of my orange eye blue tigers. I still have all of my blue dream shrimp, I think. But I lost a lot of red cherries, which is unfortunate. But I got these guys coming in to pick up the slack, and I lost a few autos, which was really sad. I was planning to have these guys breed in here, but I bought a few more, and they seem to be doing all well. I think they're all in here. But anyways, that's where this tank is pretty much right now. I'm planning on clearing away all of the surface plants, letting this lace plant just grow like crazy, see where it goes. I have a bunch of needle leaf java fern, the stuff it gets about 4 inches long, the leaves. I might add this to this, piece of wood and let it grow in, or I might just propagate some of the bulbidus and let it grow in, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys want me to do with this tank, or any suggestions or any kind of stocking ideas, anything new. I've got plenty of time over the summer just to mess with it. And let me know what kind of tank ideas. I've got a 20 long I want to set up. I have a 29, I have another 20 long, and I have 2 40 gallons and a few smaller nano tanks. Just any kind of aquascaping you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll see if I can get to it this summer. Yes, so this is Harrison Ormson signing off. Thanks for watching.